Welcome to the Not Nerd Show. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Oh no! I forgot I had my glasses on.
That's embarrassing.
No one
Start it over.
No one must know that I have to wear readers
because
I am
worn your readers on the show.
35 years old. You have to do
Yes.
readers.
It happens.
If you believe that.
Yeah.
Well, good day to you, sir. You're looking good. You're looking fine. You're looking chipper.
Yes.
I will say that we're going to talk about your hat tonight. We're going to cover our main topics, what was the title of the show? Where did the 16 billion passwords come from? Man, who knows? Pro tip of the week by yours truly. We're going to do our not so hot takes, bonus odd take, and there might be a double bonus odd take in there. I clicked the link and I think you're going to enjoy that. Our picks of the week and more. But at the top of that list, Nathan, please tell us about your closet and your hat.
Yes. Closet, I used this one before. It was an AI generated.
Yes.
I think the prompt was a bunch of trucker hats and short sleeve plaid shirts, which is what not necessarily my closet, but my clothing consists of. But I do have a hat. It is a navy blue, and it is
PTW, the Auto Parts People. Oh, when I think of PTW, I think of Auto Parts People.
Yeah, I'm not.
What is that?
I was going to look it up before the show because I have no idea where I got this hat, but PTW, no, I don't think it exists anymore.
BTW, by the way, but PTW.
PTW in Indigo, California, Professional Tires and Wheel.
Yeah, everybody knows. That's your professional tire and wheel center.
Yes.
Well, anyway, nobody wants to talk about that, but you sure have a nice looking hat there today.
Yes,
so,
nice new one to do. And I do want to remind people, if you noticed, we are on episode 498 this evening. That is a big number, and that also means in 2 weeks, Tuesday night, we will be having our 500th episode. Now, we've been talking about, we've got a couple fun things to do. We're still thinking about a couple others. I have been doing some research into record holding. We aren't the only podcast to make it to 500 episodes, but I think I have an angle that we might be able to submit to the old Guinness people. So I might try that for episode 500. And boy, do I have a hat
for the 500.
Episode 500. It is, I mean, I've worn my not nerd hat. I've worn my one backup is none backup hat. I've worn my newer hat, all those classics. But I have got one coming that if you tune in just for the first minute, see the hat, hit like a bunch of times, or hit heart a bunch of times, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
It'll be worth it. But yeah, we are going to do that, episode 500. Now, the interesting thing, doing things weekly, in January, we will be hitting our decade of podcasting. So they kind of line up in these things where it's like 5 years was like 250 episodes. So it's like, what do you celebrate? We celebrate every week here. And producer Todd, speaking of
celebrating people.
Yeah. He says you'll get the record for most consistent tech podcast on the internet.
Very nicely done. And producer Todd and I got to meet in IRL and were able to press the flesh, which maybe is not as appetizing as IRL in real life. Helped him drive somewhere, and it was fun to see him and talk about all the stuff. I got some jacket things from him and a bevy of other things. Nice. By the way, that Coke Zero caffeine free was pretty good, Todd. Not as good as the caffeine version, but it was still very refreshing. I drank it on the way home, so Thank you.
Nice. I
Thank you
got to
very
ride in a
much.
Prius. What a time to be alive.
It's not a Prius.
Nissan Leaf.
Nissan Leaf. We talk about it all the time. And
Yes.
where is the thing? Where's the
There's the driveway. Where is your
where's my
car?
It was there a moment ago.
Yes, yes. And speaking of which, my wife and daughter got to hang out with Todd today.
That's right.
So he has just had a not nerd week coming into the show.
He said the Coke Zero expired 2 years ago. Glad it was still good. I haven't been feeling well ever since.
Yes.
So, a quick sidestep. Diet Pepsi seems to go bad really fast for some reason. I think it's the artificial sweeteners in there or something. I remember a long time ago, it was probably in the 90s, back when Pepsi was cool, with the Pepsi challenge and all that stuff. Or maybe that was 80s. Regardless, my mom would have them, and then you'd just get one every once in a while, and it just tasted like, like there was a rotten egg in there. Not
Weird.
good times. So soda does go bad, but no, Todd, it was refreshing.
I would not know, being 2000.
You weren't even born yet in the 90s.
8 years soda free.
Oh, 8 years soda free. Wow.
I think 8.5 now. I believe it was the beginning of 2017 that I just said, you know what? I don't need my Diet Coke anymore.
Well, if you were to drink it, you would have some gray in your beard like mine.
Yeah, aspartame. Well, let us continue talking technology.
Let's just talk about whatever comes to
about
mind.
and gray beards.
Yeah.
I did want to mention last week in just the headlines, we had the fact that Prime Video is showing more ads per hour.
And we did this to it.
Yes, during just the headlines. And I did see this week, it's not just Prime Video.
No.
Max shows 50% more ads now.
Yes, I don't subscribe to HBO Max, but it's fun topic. I went to go see Cory Doctorow speak at the 12th Library.
Yeah, that's right. I meant to ask you about that.
And he's the person who coined the term. He's the family-friendly version. Oh no! Encrapification. This is what happens. So Todd, Nate, whoever you are being really slow.
The live stream froze for a second.
Yeah, maybe it must be on my end this time around. But anyway, this is what's happening with the live stream stuff. Is this encrapification type stuff that's going on? So anyway, I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Yes, it's basically the theory that all of this technology stuff, all the social media platforms, all the streaming services, they just get worse and worse, and they're trying to make more money, so they put in more ads. I've mentioned I got a good deal on HBO Max, and so I've watched a couple shows. I haven't found a show that I needed to watch all the way through yet, but some of these shows that you always are hearing people talk about, I'm like, well, I'm paying for it, I might as well watch some of these. But I had noticed, like, there was a click where it was like, oh, I didn't used to get ads, now I get ads all the time.
Hulu is the worst. Hulu with ads is nearly unwatchable. It'll be a 2-minute ad and then like 5 minutes of the program, 2-minute ad, 5 minutes of program. I mean, it's relentless. And I'm just like, we just saw an ad, but they want you to pay for the service. Actually, I think they make more money on the ad service than they do, but it's, encrapification, just another word for late stage capitalism. It is. Yes. It is.
Oh, well, yeah, I was actually, I won't get us too sidestepped, but yes, things are fun. And hey, let's cleanse our palate with our main topic this week. I saw this literally everywhere. Everybody was covering this 16 billion with a B passwords leaked. There's a bunch of articles, and even on social, I know it's a big tech story when I'm seeing it just in my social media feed that isn't always super tech based, or at least this kind of technology based. So the headline from Forbes, a reputable service as far as I know, 16 billion Apple, Facebook, Google, and other passwords leaked. Now, we're going to maybe set the record straight a little bit on this. It makes for a great headline to say that 16 billion passwords were leaked. Now, when you look at that headline, let's break that apart. This is a special segment we call Break Down the Headline.
I don't. Oh,
There it is.
don't have a sounder for that.
Yeah, 16 billion Apple, Facebook, Google, and other passwords leaked. Now, of course, they're going to put Apple first because anytime there's anything that has to do with Apple, they're
It
going to
gets the
talk about it.
clicks.
Facebook, there's 3 billion active users on Facebook. Google, kind of a big thing, and other. So there was, I think, about 30 different databases that have recently been discovered online, shared on, on the dark web or wherever. And there was one, I think Elliot might have sent it to us like maybe a month ago, and it was like 184 million compromised credentials. And then they kind of put it together in this last week. This 16 billion number was come up with. Now, it's not like somebody cracked Apple, Facebook, Google, and every other service last week, and
I just
then
replied to
they
it.
published it. Yes, Dave's text messaging me during the show. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's not like these were all hacked. If you notice, it says leaked. So these password databases were found on the web. And I actually, from Bleeping Computer, I have another link that I put in the show notes. Producer Todd, LOL, we use this story as just a headline on the Mark and Toddcast because it's so inflammatory. To be fair, I followed it up with, but listen to Not Nerd for some actual coverage. Yes. So Bleeping Computer, they've been around forever. No, the 16 billion credentials leak is not a new data breach. They think that a lot of this is kind of a conglomerate of password breaches and leaks and, like the website that we talk about all the time, Have I Been Pwned?
Mm-hmm.
I should have put in the show notes for people to look up once again. But he has put together all of these password leaks and he just lets you look up. He doesn't, share your passwords with anybody.
He just compares your stuff against the list.
Against. So there are all these logins in all this information they found. Now they think a lot of it probably did come from info stealers, which I in the IT world have actually used to help people retrieve passwords and that sort of thing. But it's kind of malware that gets installed on your computer, and anytime you type in a password or it finds all your Chrome saved passwords and sends it off to some nefarious person.
Maybe that's what we need. We need the government to create a database of everyone's usernames and passwords that they will securely guard in case you lose it.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
There you go.
What could go wrong?
A government secure. I actually did see on social media, some guy posted, I have created a database of every password ever used. And it was like a 15 gigabyte database file of just every combination of numbers, letters, and everything for 20 digits or whatever he did.
That's a lot. There are a lot of combinations.
Yes, but and I don't know how complete his was, but it was
there's no
a
way
little tongue in cheek that here's every password so you can not benefit at it from it.
You got to have the username too.
Yes, but all this to say, there are a lot of usernames and passwords out there, and we have been preaching for nearly 10 years to use secure passwords. Now, and don't use your pet's name, don't use your maiden name, don't use the year you were born. Don't use the same password. I actually have a client right now that I will not mention that I'm desperately working with them. When they get a new employee, they create one password, use it for every service, save it in an Excel spreadsheet that multiple people have access to. And I remember way back when I was doing IT at a school, um, it was a Christian school, and their password, I mean, this is many moons ago when things were much
It's
simpler.
probably the same password, but go on.
No, well, I hope they've gotten better. I think they were required to get better on some things at least, because the password for like the server was frog. You know
Oh,
what frog stands for, Dave?
I do not.
Fully rely on God.
Oh,
So that was their security
I thought it
method
was going to be
was,
Jesus, honestly. I thought
yes,
the password is
fraud.
just Jesus.
Yeah, yeah, but no, this is just a great reminder. This is not the end of the world. This story, it made for a great headline, but it is for one, keep your computer updated so they
Mm-hmm.
can patch things. Use some sort of antivirus. If you're on Windows, just use the built-in Windows Defender. It will find these info stealers if you had one or that kind of thing. If you're on a Mac, you probably don't need one. If you want to run a Malwarebytes or a Mac Cleaner, is that the one we use? I always forget the
Clean
name
my
because there's
Mac.
the Clean My Mac. They've got some monitoring in there. Apple does a very good job of it. But the passwords, come back to the passwords. And whether you use, if you use Google Chrome, their password manager, if you're all Apple, please use the iCloud. Even if you're not Apple, if you have an iPhone, you can use the password manager here on your phone. You can look up your passwords if you need to type them. We don't have to type them in that often. I believe the Forbes article was talking about passkeys,
Mm-hmm.
which you might have noticed when you're logging into new services. That pass it says, "Hey, do you want to create a passkey?" I'm told they're secure. Some people
Yeah,
disagree with that, but
they kind of
it's not
use.
gonna show up in one of these breaches. It's
Yeah,
tied more to some sort of biometrics or
yeah.
something.
There is a fatal flaw I found today with passkeys is when you are using Jump Desktop to use a computer somewhere else and you say
Oh,
log in with the passkey and it's like double click your watch or put your finger on the finger
yeah,
reader or do your face for face ID. It's like I'm not there. I can't
I'm not there.
I can't do it.
Yes.
So you have to use an alternative login method. But anyway,
Yes, but, if anything, grab a piece of paper, grab a Aaron Draplin's field notes, get a field notes and write passwords in there and just create. You can, I'm now, the ultimate would be to use something like we always recommend Bitwarden. I know that's a big jump for people, but just use unique passwords. Now, with these 16 billion being out there, there's a good chance one of yours is in there somewhere. And if you use the same password everywhere, maybe it's time to change some passwords. Just think about it, your bank, your social media accounts, your Dr. RIP VHS YouTube channel,
yeah, anything.
those important accounts, make sure you have a good password on there. Use a passkey, use second factor authentication where it sends you a text or you have a authenticator app. Um, take this stuff seriously because this people are going to keep stealing passwords and keep sharing passwords. So that's the moral of this story.
It sure is. It sure
Yes,
is.
sure is. And with that, you know what else sure is? Dave's pro tip of the week.
I'm surprised every week. I never know what you're gonna say. So I looked back with my big brain and a spreadsheet not full of passwords to see if I had used this one before because I know we've talked about it. But regardless, if I have used this tip before, it's worth mentioning
Yeah.
again. And of course, I'm referring to the little item I like to refer to as what's it say in my notes so they match up? Schedule text message, send later in iOS. So
Yes.
Android users have been using send later for a long time,
Yes.
and it was the last would have been last September we were able to. I should have looked clear back. Actually, I looked further back than September, I thought. But anyway.
I think we talked about it maybe in new iOS features when
Yeah.
the new one came out. I don't think it was specifically, but if not, I keep forgetting about this feature. So
Yeah.
please tell us all again.
It's definitely worth covering again. So if you are an iOS user and you use messages, which I'm sure you do, I'm going to bring up a message between Nate and I where we share our links and stuff. And
Yes,
I'm just going to
which
show it like
you are
this.
extremely active in
Yes,
this.
but
Thank
I
you.
have a note here. This will be in the notes, a support article, and we'll just kind of go through this. So you can schedule a text message on iPhone to send later. If it's too late at night or blah, 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 you want to do it later? Well, here's how you do it. So you go into your messages app on your iPhone. So, like here, I'm in my messages app. And then you tap the send later button. So here I'll go here. So there's the send later button over here. Well, I'm sorry. You have to hit the plus button. And then you'll notice send later. Boom, right there. Send later. And now it gives you an item that you can schedule. And you can pick a date and time. And when you hit send, it'll just kind of cue the message for when it's time to send. It's pretty simple. I don't love that it's hidden under the plus button where there's also find funny gifs and send memojis, and it's like this like junk drawer full of crap.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hidden in there. But if you're somebody who likes to send messages at all hours and you don't, especially for work, and you don't want the recipients to know that you were doing it at 3 a.m., just schedule it. Send it later at 8 a.m., 8:40. Here's a real pro tip. Where's my button? Here, help me out with the pro tip sounder. Here's the real pro tip is you should not pick like 8 or 9, or it should be something like 8:03 or 8:27.
Yes.
So it seems more organic and real.
Yeah.
But it's pretty easy. We'll just go back to the thing here. You just tap the button to send, and it won't send. It'll have a dashed line around it until it's time to send. And you can go in later and tap it again to adjust the time or to send it right away. So here it is. You can reschedule a message until it's delivery time. Go to the thing, click on the conversation, tap edit beside the date, and then you can change it. And you can even change the contents of the message that's been scheduled. And of course, you can delete it. But we have that article in the show notes if you want to take a look at it. But just explore the little plus button when you go to send a message that's right next to it. Mine has images, camera, photos, stickers, Apple Cash, audio, send later. And if you tap and hold, you can you absolutely can. I'll show you. So you can tap and hold an item and move them around in this list. So if you want it to be higher up in the list, you can certainly do that.
Yes. That is a great bonus pro tip to organize that list. I don't know if there is a way to turn some of them off because like mine has like T-Mobile twice. I have T-Mobile twice in my list of things there.
So I have polls. I thought that's weird. Do you have two T-Mobile apps, like an old version and a new version?
Yeah, I probably. Well, we know that I have 500 apps, so it's
true.
There's a lot of.
It's any app. I think. Well, actually, I'm just gonna look. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna go into the settings, and then I'm gonna go down to applications.
So I think by default, any app that has a feature built into their app to do this, it gets added to the list. Like the Panera e-gifts, in case I want to send anybody a Panera gift card.
Yeah. If you go down to settings, scroll down to apps, and then find the messages app, there are apps that are compatible that you can remove. Like I could remove polls if I wanted, or the Tomb Raider sticker pack or Game Pigeon. But there's some that are just built in, like the images, some of those other things. You can't get rid of them. But if you have like T-Mobile twice, go into the settings, go into apps, go into messages, go to and remove the T-Mobile thing.
And just for producer Todd, There is something you can do with the Coca-Cola Freestyle app.
Oh,
The machine where you
yeah.
can, so I'm gonna click on that and see what I can send to Dave through the Coca-Cola.
You know,
You
the
could probably send your drink mix.
probably there used to be one in Jack in the Box in Tualatin, a freestyle. It's not there anymore, but there are
Oh,
some in Wendy's.
yes, Wendy's does have those. I used it on Sunday, as a
Oh,
matter of fact.
very
Very
nice.
nice. Well, that is a good one. It is very handy for emails and messages. Sometimes you don't want to send them right then, and it makes sense to just send them later. So, great tip, which
Thank you.
means it's time for everyone's favorite segment, Just the Headlines.
Oh, and my car's not back.
Oh,
I've been having some HVAC work done, and I've been leaving my driveway open for the guy who's
oh
working on it.
yes.
So anyway, my car is not missing. That was a joke. Haha. So funny. But yeah, it's a nice balmy 78 degrees here in my cave, and I don't know what it is outside, but it was a little warm today. It's going to get warmer by
Yes.
Sunday. So for those of you
Yes.
interested in Sherwood weather,
Yes.
all one of
Yes.
you out there.
Yes. Elliot
Yeah.
in Australia. I'm wondering that.
He's like, what?
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, let us get to Just the Headlines.
Applebee's and IHOP plan to introduce AI in restaurants.
Axolotl discovery brings us closer than ever to regrowing human limbs.
A mathematician calculated the size of a giant meatball made of every human. Mwah.
Scientists once hoarded pre-nuclear steel. Now we're hoarding pre-AI content.
Record DDoS, or denial of service, plummets site, pummels site with once unimaginable 7.3 terabits per second of junk traffic.
Iran bans officials from using internet-connected devices.
Wise. And finally, scientists create world's smallest violin.
Wah, wah. And those are just the headlines.
Man, I kind of blew the pummels
No,
site. I read through all
that was
these.
a lot.
It was a
That
lot.
was a bad headline. I give you the bad ones.
7.3 terabits per second. That's a
Yes.
lot of traffic per second.
Good call. Yeah.
I should have
Yeah, we've
said
had some stories on those
record,
dedicated denial of service.
yeah, record dedicated denial of services pummel site with a bunch of traffic is what it should have said.
Yes.
With more than 4 traffic.
With more than 4 traffic. Oh man.
Yes, sir.
Well, let us move on to our takes of the week. This first one was a surprise to me. It seemed like it was a surprise to most.
Yeah.
Introducing Oakley Meta glasses, a new category of performance AI glasses.
They are
Yeah.
performing. Yes. So, I'm going to mute this tab in case you're wondering. I don't know how to do it. So I want to play this video. I have the Ray-Ban Metas, of course, but
Yes.
now you can get Oakley Metas. And I got to be honest with you, growing up, I always thought Oakleys were ugly and that only like jocks wore them. They were overpriced, and low quality. So I don't see the appeal, honestly. But if you are an Oakley fan, you can now enjoy headphones, a camera, Meta AI, among other features.
Yes.
Some
Yes. And
accessibility
they have
features.
more battery stamina, higher resolution camera for Ultra HD 3K video, and
Take
yeah,
that,
and Meta AI.
Ray-Ban.
Now, I will say these aren't your father's Oakleys. These aren't the super sporty, slick ones. they're a little angular, but they do look not completely different. Then there's the good
Mm-hmm.
spinning 3D there. Completely different than the ones you have. I believe they do have white and black, and I'm guessing you can get the polarized lenses or without. Now, you said you never had Oakleys. I had a pair of Folkleys that I
Oh,
bought in Tijuana that I wore for a while in the mid 90s, as one did. But yes, the
just to
real deal was never in my pocketbook.
fake out the girls. Oh, he's got
Yeah.
real Oakleys. He must have money.
Yes, yes. So these will be available for pre-order starting July 11th for $4.99. The rest of the collection, the limited edition Oakley Meta HSTN
Pronounced Houston.
for 4.99, with the rest of the collection starting at $3.99, dropping later this summer. So yeah, we're going to continue just to see movement on all things AI, AR, wearable glasses, goggles, all of that stuff. I've seen some, I think they were some of the ones that we saw at CES. There was a lot of AI glasses there. Now, I am a little bummed we didn't slow down more. Again, this first year was a fact
Fact
finding mission,
finding mission, as we like to
but
say.
yes, but I wish we would have spent more time seeing what some of these different glasses did, but I think much like AI, this stuff's going to start moving at the speed of light just because, Apple has made some strides with their Vision Pro, even though it's very high priced. The Meta glasses are very popular. Now they've got a new version, but there's a lot of people working on this with sunglasses with screens that show up, all these different things. So I'm excited for the thing. I don't wear glasses. I rarely even wear sunglasses anymore.
Mm.
Tune into my non-existent health podcast for more on that. But yeah. What do you think? Do you think do you like the style? Does the style put you off on these, even though they have the upgraded specs?
No, I don't like the Oakley style. I refuse. I refuse to do the sports bro look. I just think it's
Yeah,
ugly. And I don't
yeah.
love those.
You are a true nerd.
I am.
I can't be seen wearing
Well, I
Oakleys.
don't like the lens. Let me go back to the picture here. The style of graduated mirror lens.
Mm,
Man, I try to get to it here. Nope. Nope. Man, how many styles do they have? A billion?
yeah, billion styles.
Well, yeah, so that was kind of one where it's like uh, gradient mirror.
Yeah.
I just don't really like that look for some reason, but some people do. So more power to you. I'm not going to stop people from doing things that they want to do, but I'm going to tell people what I like and dislike. And I don't like the look. But who knows? Maybe I should try them on. Like with many things
Yeah.
in life, maybe we should try it before we pass judgment.
Yes, yes. But you do like your Meta
I
frames,
do. I think
and
they look stylish and classic.
some people. And who are those ones made by?
Meta,
Why am I?
Ray-Ban.
Yeah, but Ray-Ban.
Okay. Yeah,
I
Ray-Ban Meta.
completely blanked on that, and I did hear someone saying that this does make sense because Oakley and Ray-Ban are owned by the same parent company.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
um,
So if
I'm
Apple,
sure, as with everything in our previously mentioned late stage capitalism, I'm sure there is one company that owns every glasses company.
yeah, and if Apple comes out with some of these, I mean, Meta's kind of scooping up all of the deals with the glass manufacturers. Apple's just gonna have to design their own, I guess,
Yeah,
with their own look and feel,
yeah,
and they'll be like, we've taken samples from 5 billion eyeballs and we've made sure, and face types, and these are what
yeah,
we think. But like Ray-Ban and Oakley have been doing this for 50, 100 years, whatever. So it's like, I'm not confident they're going to improve on the process, but we shall see.
yes, yes. Luxottica Group is
Mm,
an Italian eyewear multinational corporation headquartered in Milan.
of course.
Yes, they own Oakley, Ray-Ban, LensCrafters, Sunglass Hut, Pearl Vision, Target Optical, and Glasses.com. It also owns iMed, one of the largest health insurance providers, in addition to licensing prescription and non-prescription sunglasses frames for many luxury and designer brands, including Chanel, Prada, Giorgio Armani, Burberry, Versace, Dolce & Gabbana, Michael Kors, Coach, Miu Miu, and Tory Burch. And the list goes on. So yes, Luxottica, Essilor and Luxottica are two large companies that combine to
So
own all.
basically, everyone, and I'm sure they have lobbyists in the U.S. Congress to make sure that prescriptions from a licensed optometrist is required in order to get all these prescriptions and all this stuff because it's all
Yes.
racket.
And producer Todd says, Dave was wearing his meta glasses when he picked me up. The only reason I noticed they weren't regular glasses is that the video light came on whenever he looked at my chest.
That's not true. They weren't even working yesterday. They were broken. I got them working, but
Broken.
yes,
No. Well,
you just they were flashing when you were turned around, and then I would
yeah.
quickly turn it off.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and next one, I'm glad producers Todd is here. This is a pour one out. macOS Tahoe beta drops FireWire support.
And I was
Man.
beside myself today doing other things, and I was going to get my original iPod, which I think you have one on your desk. Show everybody your wonderful FireWire port. That's what it looks like. It's kind of like a
the FireWire 400
elongated
port.
D.
Whoops, other side. There
yeah.
it is. And a headphone jack back when
What?
technology had ports.
What's a headphone jack? What's a computer? So yes, it was supposed to be the USB killer. That didn't quite work out. But yes, they had FireWire 400, which is the one that Nate just showed you. FireWire 800, which is shaped a bit differently, and I mean it's still very chunky.
Yes, they were very chunky ports. I think that maybe that was the downfall of FireWire, was the chunkiness.
Yeah. USB was just half the height, and as devices got smaller and smaller, now they could have developed they did develop the dock connector, which is a very wide and thin connector. But everything's gone the way of the dodo because thinner, smaller, lighter is the way of the future. So now we're on USB-C, which honestly I'm very happy with.
Yes. FireWire was a great port. It was so much faster than USB. It just worked well. You could daisy chain it. Man, FireWire was a big deal back in the day.
Way faster than USB.
Yeah. Yes.
Like not even close.
Yeah. And so it was a good port, but I can definitely see why in 2025 Apple, and it was just in the beta, but it's probably time for it to move on.
Yeah.
I do have I have a couple old Macs with FireWire still on them, and a couple FireWire cables. It was a mouthful.
I've got one right back here with FireWire.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm pretty sure that has FireWire on it, doesn't it? I think it does.
Of some sort. But so if you're using those FireWire devices, it's time to upgrade or find an adapter. I'm sure there's a USB-C to FireWire 400.
And it costs $275.
Yes. USB-C to FireWire 400.
And while he's looking that up, I'm going to click on the next article. What do you got?
No, I'm seeing USB to FireWire. And maybe it doesn't exist. Bummer. Well, our next article, this is one you found, and I saw it a couple times this week. It's a new camera app from Adobe.
Yeah. And I actually tried this one out. It's called Project Indigo for some reason. I have no idea why. Is an experimental camera developed by Adobe's NextCam team. And there's a list of people who are involved. The app promises to take clearer, like low light photos, and it's using all this trickery. So, for example, here's a picture, if you're watching online, of a picture of a low light of a grandfather clock, and you can see just the signal noise that's the sensor is picking up. Now, with the new Adobe app, it takes multiple pictures, averages them out, and then gives you a much clearer picture. That signal noise is random. So when you take a picture, the next picture doesn't have the signal noise in the exact same spot. And you do that multiple times, and you can stack these photos and get a clearer picture. But I did a test. I don't have the
Oh,
photos here. I mean, they're probably on my phone somewhere. I had the built-in app, and then I had the Adobe app, and I would try different things because the built-in app on the iPhone has the dark mode or whatever, where you take a picture and it takes a second to kind of
oh yeah, the night
the
mode.
night mode. That's what it's called. Um, the night mode performed better in every circumstance. So I'm not exactly sure what this is for. Um,
Yeah, yeah, and I actually I realized as I was looking through this, and of course I downloaded the app and was checking it out. It reminded me of an app that I thought was a previous pick of the week. Again, I couldn't find it in our database, but an app called Hydra, Hydra, which I mean, I probably got this at least 5 years ago, and it does a very similar thing where you have different settings and you can do a low light or an HDR where it'll take several pictures and then enhance it. But yeah, I was like, well, maybe Adobe just bought
hmm.
Hydra and made an announcement about their cool new app, but it's not the first time this has been done. So I don't know that people need to get it. And like you're saying, Dave, and you're testing, the camera app was doing just fine. So I'm not sure why Adobe needed this besides releasing another app for your phone.
I'm trying to type in that Hydra app, but my browser keeps plunking
Yeah,
at
I
me.
think
Okay, here, Hydra iOS. I just wanted to type it in to see what we come
yeah,
up with. From Creseed, perhaps?
yeah, there it is.
Huh. Innovation
Photography.
experience, artificial intelligence, editing, pricing. What is the pricing on this deal?
Yeah,
If it
I
ain't
think
free, I
I
don't want it.
paid a couple bucks for it way back. Let me look in the app
So here's what they're
store.
promising the differences. That to that. Yeah,
I
yeah,
I
you're
think
right.
my
Look at the grainy noise, and then it's the clear.
yes, yeah.
Same
So
idea.
so they have a free trial, and then it says it's $16 for the Pro Pack
Oh,
to remove limitations.
that's a
Um,
little steep.
yeah, copyright 2022. I'm trying to see when their last update was on this because it seems like it's got 3.4 stars out of 5. I used to use it and try it out all the time, but well, they released an update in April of 2025, so they're
Or did
still
Adobe
updating it.
buy Hydra and just slap Adobe Indigo
Yeah,
on it?
I wonder on that. But yeah, I would say with both these apps. Oh, and this is Hydra 2 that I pulled up, not Hydra 1.
Of
I
course.
would say, man, the Apple camera app, the default one for 99% of what you're taking pictures of.
And I'm sure the one next year is going to be even better.
Yes, this is true. This is true. Well, maybe I can dump those two apps on my phone, but Denmark is dumping Microsoft Office and Windows for Mike Peterson will love it. LibreOffice and Linux.
I didn't read the article, but I wonder if it's because they're ticked off at the U.S. trying to take their territory of Greenland. They're like, no
No.
American companies.
Yes, yes. So I guess the largest cities, Copenhagen and Aarhus, had already announced plans, and
What was that again?
Aarhus,
Aarhus?
stick that in your Aarhus. But so it does say in the article, I was reading through some of it. It's not because open source is better, but because Denmark wants to claim digital sovereignty. In the United States, we probably haven't heard of that phrase, but in the European Union, digital sovereignty is a big deal and getting bigger. Combination of security, economic, political, and societal imperatives is driving the EU's digital sovereignty moves. reduce Europe's dependence on foreign technology providers, primarily those United States, and to
Well, to be
assert
fair,
greater
everything is made in
control
the
over.
United States when it comes to technology. Not everything,
Yeah,
but a majority of it.
yeah. So it seems to be a thing. Well, you would have to look at the holistic cost to really see. I was going to say it would save you a lot of money on Microsoft licensing because that just keeps getting more and more expensive.
Yeah.
But I would guess there might be more management of using these open source options. LibreOffice, which we've mentioned before, it's a free version of Microsoft Office.
It works
Um,
well. I mean, I haven't used it for years, but it's works fine. I
Good
think
enough.
a lot of it could have to do, I mean, when it talks about all those things in the list, but with open source software, you know what's in it. So in
Yeah.
the back of other countries' minds are always thinking, is Microsoft putting in a back door to the US government so that it can come in and see our documents that might be proprietary or sensitive or, you know, politically strategic?
Yes.
So I can see why countries would want either a software product that they develop or one that's open source so that they can, you know, have visibility on the source code.
Yeah, yeah. And other news, I didn't put it in the show notes this week, but the president did extend another 90 days on the TikTok ban, completely unrelated to this story and
Hmm.
governments and who has knows what's going on with things. But yeah, so interesting. Denmark. There's something else I saw. Denmark was in the news this week. They're really on the up and up over
Yeah,
in Denmark.
they're big news all of a sudden.
Yes, yes. Well, our last take of no, that was our last take of the week. So it is time to cleanse our palate with our bonus odd take. And this is a super fun one that I found, the Catleidoscope.
Yes, I've played around with it. You can move your mouse, and it's a kaleidoscope. And up in the left corner, you can even change la cat.
Yes.
So there we go. Now it's the weird cat. I can't remember his name. The one with the tongue that never goes in. Is that the one?
Grumpy cat.
Maybe. Yes. And this is as cool as this is, Nate. My picture is covering it right now, but it says check out the Catcordian. Did you check
Oh,
out the Catcordian?
I saw that down there. I did not check that out.
Okay, so here's the Catcordian.
Oh,
I think it might even be better. Sorry to take away a future
oh
bonus
no,
pick.
no, this is definitely a 2-in-1.
Here, I got to get rid of our faces here real quick because it's covering. It's covering. There we go. So there's the cat. I don't know if you. Yeah, you guys should be able to hear that.
Oh, you resized the window. Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, I don't think the people can hear it from me, but yeah, you resize the window.
Yeah, here, I'll put it up to my speakers and
And you can change the cat. There's Grumpy
oh,
Cat. This is
yes.
he was the
Oh.
he was the special cat. I can't remember his name.
Wes pops into the chat. This is why we have technology.
Yeah.
The Catcordian and the Catleidoscope, the 2-for-1 bonus odd
Yeah,
take.
lots of
Where
fun.
else are you gonna get that?
If you like
Where
cats
else?
and you like kaleidoscopes and cordians, then there you go.
Man, well, the only thing that might get better than that is our picks of the week.
And I'm verifying that the echo is turned off this week.
Yes, so I don't go 10
So
minutes of echo.
I kind of buried this pick for a couple
Yeah.
months, it feels like at this point. But Nate, I don't know if you clicked the link or saw the software
I
or whatever.
did not. You put in the show notes mysterious camera, and I was like, I click that link. I need a full on live reveal of the whatever a mysterious camera is.
Well, on Facebook Marketplace, this isn't going to be something that you're going to want to run out and buy. It'll probably make it to our not picks page, but you can't get one anywhere. It's a historical piece, but I picked up
Ooh.
the Lytro camera.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember the Lytro camera?
I had forgotten about the Lytro camera. That was you teased photos of that, and
Yes. So
oh
so here's what it looks like. It
yes,
looks better in person. But that screen is kind of one of the downfalls. I read a bunch of reviews. The screen's not that great. And there are a
mm,
couple things you can do with it. You can pull down or you can pull up a menu at the bottom. You can look at there's Val giving me the finger, the not the finger, the circle game.
oh yes,
So what here's the bread and butter of the Lytro camera, and you'll notice it's got a
yeah,
unique shape. It's basically just a vertical, well, I guess it could be horizontal. It's just a cube, a elongated cube, a rectangular
yeah.
cube, 3-dimensional rectangle, and a screen on one side and a lens on another side. And you'll note that here's a typical webcam with however big that is, half a centimeter. And then this is the size of the Lytro lens. See how much bigger it is? It's probably
Yeah.
double. What the Lytro camera does is it takes a full field image of every focal length between the lens and the subject and beyond. So I actually set this up as an example to show you what you can do with the software is you can focus the camera after the fact. So here's the trash can in the back. Click there, in focus. Click in the
Wow.
foreground, in focus. You can adjust things like where did it go? The F, where's the aperture? So here's, if you want it really blurry everywhere except for the focal plane, there you go. If you want it to be less blurry everywhere, you can adjust that. You can adjust the focus spread. I played around with a little bit of that. And you can do some other things that, now the software is old. I had to go out and I went to some nefarious websites and did some
Borrowed it from some friends on the
installs.
internet.
And no, it's not open source, but it's not.
Yeah.
The company is not solvent anymore. They sold their technology
No.
to someone else. So anyway, you can do some animation things, and it'll do this. I saw a thing too where you can export it. I haven't figured it out yet. You can export it as a animated GIF, and because of the way lenses work, let's see. I don't know how to explain this, but there's pixels on the left side of the sensor and the right side of the sensor, and they do it at every focal length in between. And so you get a little bit of separation, just like on your iPhone when you're doing the dual cameras. There's that separation there, and it can do a 3D image. This does a similar thing, and you can actually view the image in 3D. If I can remember how to get there. Yeah. Oh yeah, here it is. So there's left and right. If you cross your eyes right now, you'll see it in 3D. You can do it in the blue-green or red-green.
Oh, yeah.
Red-blue. Geesh. Or you can do it in 2D, and you can export all this stuff. And so it's also a 3D camera. And you can export the bump map. So there's my ledge that I'm working on. But you can also do, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see dark gray down at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
and it gets lighter into the background. You can export that and potentially create a 3-dimensional object out of it. It would just be kind of like on my 3D printer, I could do it and it would just be a surface map that would be higher on one end and lower in the other spots or whatever. So it had a lot of potential. And they made a second version of this camera that looks more like a digital SLR. Super expensive. I think this thing was like $600 or something when it came out, like a decade ago, would be even more now. I picked it up for $40 on Facebook Marketplace.
Nice.
Am I going to be taking a lot of photos and using them for anything? No. This will probably sit back here among all my other technology that's not worth anything anymore. But it's a fun piece of history for people who are interested in cameras. So there's the Lytro, Lytro camera, and it's in the red version, which has more internal storage. But you're going to have to get parallels and download an old version to get it to work. The Mac version wouldn't work on my new machine. So
Nice.
there you go.
That is super super cool. Yeah, I totally remember that. I was like, "Oh, this is amazing." And now realizing you can do all of that digitally
Pretty
with your
much.
iPhone. You can shoot 3D, well, whatever the Vision Pro videos, and you can do the cinematic mode where you can adjust focus on video after the fact. That doesn't do photo or video, does it? Like
No,
record video, you can create like the
no,
video effect afterwards, but
still photos only. But I think the technology's similar, but not exactly the same. I think Apple and others are using a lot of AI algorithms to determine the depth map, where this is using geometry. Although I would say
yeah.
that with the um, what's the lidar on your
Oh yeah.
camera phones, it does use real geometry and time of flight stuff to figure out where things are. But it also uses some AI stuff, hence your mustache, which
Yeah.
if I we should try this. The next time we're together, I'm going
Oh,
to take a picture of you with the mustache to see if it doesn't if it
that can handle
yeah,
the
because it should just be
ugh,
focused in this plane of your face, and so you should be able to see the mustache. And then when I focus
yeah,
behind you, it'll go out of focus. See, can your
I can
iPhone do
only
that?
hope. No, it cannot, sadly. Yeah, it looks I searched, I found a Reddit post from 13 years ago saying that it started at $400,
$400. Yeah.
probably for the small storage. But that is a very cool piece of history there for the Dave Baylor Museum.
Yes, Museum of Junk. There you go. Had a
At
lot.
least that one still works.
Yeah, it totally works. It works fine.
Yeah,
It's just
nice.
not very good resolution.
Yes. Yes. Well, my pick of the week this week, I'm going off the beaten path. It's
Okay.
not the first time we've done this. I am picking a YouTuber as my pick of the week. And of course, I've done Mr. Beast and Beast Games, and we did that whole super long episode with Isla about Mr. Beast. But there is another guy, and I was actually talking to Wes the other day. I think he is my favorite YouTuber, and it is Ryan Trahan. Now,
Hmm.
you go to his YouTube page there and you see him, and Wes told me, he goes, "Yeah, my kids were telling about him the first time I looked him up. Go, I'm gonna hate this guy. Don't let the hair fool you, but he is just the most fun-loving, happy, finding good in the world. He is currently doing he's visiting 50 states in 50 days, and I think he's on like day 15 right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's raising $1 million for St. Jude's Children's Hospital.
Okay,
He's got
nice.
this Wheel of Doom. Now he's super fun, super entertaining to watch. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I really like him. He's just very, as the term Wes likes to use, raw authentic.
Mm.
He's not doing Mr. Beast $1 million productions. 9 times out of 10, he's just using a tripod in his iPhone. He actually was talking through this series that he has this big, nice, I think, Sony camera with a big old long lens. He said most of it, he's got a couple iPhones. He films, he'll set up a tripod, and you'll even see he'll be like way far away from the camera. And he just set up his tripod, and they'll just do cut in edits, and it'll be
Mm.
super great. He doesn't care, but man, if you need a little joy in your life right now, and and Wes chimed in the chat, I'm an official Ryan Trahan super fan, totally raw authentic. He's actually doing this 50-day adventure with his wife. They're staying in the best Airbnb in every state every night, so they have to get from state to state, and if people donate enough, they have to spin the wheel of doom.
It looks
But
like it looks like he might be getting into some PDX fast foodie territory here with
yeah,
this bit of the clip.
I know he's done, but he's done a lot of great videos. He's got just over 20 million subscribers,
Hmm.
so he's a pretty big deal.
Just under
He
us. Yeah,
Yeah, and I
that's
was
fine.
gonna grab some. He started a candy brand. It's called Joyride Candy, where
What's up with these
um,
influencers and candy brands? There's got to be
they're
something going on.
making money, but his is it's a lot of gummy type candies, and he's trying to use no artificial flavors, no artificial sugars, real ingredients, so making a slightly healthier candy. And he just had Joyride Day. He set a Guinness Book World Record for the most people taking a selfie with candy in 1 hour on Joyride Day because he's in every Target store. But no, he's just, again, I could go on forever and ever. He did a fun video where he had to wear the Apple Vision Pro last year for 50 hours straight.
Wow.
So just the adventure of that. And he got really famous for doing a penny series. He'd start in California with a penny, have to get
Oh,
across the country or go across Europe and
trade
keep
up.
doing it as fundraisers. But I mean, just I really want to see a behind the scenes of this trip because they're 15 days in. Him and his wife, they're having to keep going. He has had a smile on his face the entire time. There's got to be a moment where he's just like, they get into it a little bit.
Hmm.
I would pay money to see
The
at
behind the
some point.
scenes.
But with him watching all this stuff, you kind of almost believe it's not true. And they're doing it. I haven't exactly figured out. They're probably like a 2 or 3 day delay when the video comes out. And he has 2 editors. So he films all the content. His
Mm,
wife, holds the camera sometimes, sends them the stuff. But just even thinking through, he makes it look so natural. Thinking through, he's got 24 hours in a day. He has all these different things he has to film, all these clips to get. He's got to be making notes all throughout the day and then communicating with his editors, getting them the data and then them editing, him probably reviewing it while it it's one of those things where if you
wow.
really start to think about what he's doing, it's kind of mind-boggling. But man, he is, if you need to escape the world's problems, watch yourself some Ryan Trahan.
Hmm.
Man,
Gonna have to do it.
he's got a great video on infomercials that he did a while back. But yeah, he's a good person. I genuinely believe. I do not actually know him, but I've watched some interviews with him and stuff, and just, man, he is having a great time doing what he's doing.
Well, it's too bad he's married. It sounds like you might be interested.
I know.
Well, and since we're
Yes.
talking about YouTube, don't forget
Yeah.
to like and subscribe. As I mentioned, he has just under the amount of YouTube
Yes.
subscribers that we have. Yes, Nate's got the old like and subscribe. But if you here's our goal. We have 353 subscribers on YouTube, which is
Yes.
sad, but I mean it's not a secret. You can just go to our website, and we have more videos than we have subscribers. We have
Yeah.
more than one video per person. I don't want to do the math right now, but it's 1 point something. And if
Yes.
we could get 500 subscribers before our 500th episode, that would be something.
That would be
We
awesome.
only
Yeah,
have
we
two
need to get
weeks.
moving on those subscribers. Yeah. So spread the word. But yeah, no, do like, subscribe, and hit that like button, hit the heart button if you join us on the live. But yeah, well, I as whenever I talk about my favorite YouTubers, I get myself going.
Yeah. Well,
But we
and
do have a oh, go ahead.
well, Wes has some comments there in the chat.
Oh, yes. He said, I asked AI for a script in Ryan Trahan style. It provided a great one. He has his own style. He very much does. Watching him before I go to bed, a nice, easy way to end the day.
And I just watched the
Yeah.
footage that I have of Wes and Nate before I go to bed. Nice and
Yes.
relaxing.
Yes. Ah, very,
What's the
very
difference?
nice.
There's no difference.
No
Don't
difference, no
judge.
difference, but, yeah, Ryan Trahan's good, but you can go to Not Picks, get our picks, but we do have a Ramazon purchase, and I have a feeling that maybe, hey, grandma, after I did my tripod pick, was that just last week, my Amazon tripod? I believe so.
I believe
She
so.
might have gone shopping,
Oh,
because I did see somebody bought one of those, but I found a new tripod that I
what?
might have to purchase that somebody bought through our Amazon links, and it is the Amazon Basic 64-inch extendable tripod for iPhones and smartphones, selfie stick mode, and phone tripod mode black.
Look at that
This one's
price.
15 23. So mine's more of a traditional tripod, where this is where there's the tripod base and then it extends. I do have some similar to this, but it does look better than some of the ones I have. But $15.23,
Wow.
4.4 stars, 3,000 plus bought in the last month. And somebody bought it through our Amazon affiliate link, which we
Very
are
cool.
very grateful for. So that is, I might have to get one of those to try out, because I definitely do not have that one. But it looks like a good option. I believe mine was just a 60-inch.
Mm-hmm.
And so this has a couple more inches and a little different style, a little slimmer profile. It does come with a little phone mount, but it has a 1/4 20 on the top. So
Well, and it's got a
if that
built-in,
was you, let us know how it's working.
and it's got the 1/4 20, but it's got a built-in captive screw, so that you don't have to take the
Yeah.
plate on and off, which
Oh,
it
that is
takes
so nice.
longer to get your camera off, like if you have multiple cameras with the same
Yes.
plate. But if you just have a single camera, not having
Yeah.
to lose the plate is kind of a nice feature on an inexpensive tripod.
Yeah.
So here we are. There's
Oh,
Nate giving us a review. Oh wait, no,
yes.
that's somebody
Oh,
else.
no, I need to do reviews. I got reviews coming. That's how we're going to get to those 500 followers. Our TikTok is growing nicely with our just the headlines videos, and our
Yeah.
gimbal comparisons still going, and Instagram we get a little action on. So,
We need
but
Trey
yeah, the
Parker,
YouTube,
whoever his name is. Who's the guy? Trey?
Ryan Trahan,
Ryan
Trey Parker.
Trahan. We need
We need to
him.
be in the South Park episode.
We need him to shout out the Not Nerd Show.
Well, all we have to do is donate over $1,000, and over $5,000 to his fundraiser, and we will get a live call out at the
Wow.
end of the show when he reads
At
through
1,000,
donations.
you had me like this. At 5, you had me like this.
At 1,000, we get added to the end screen, but I think there's over 200 people that have given over
Who watches the end
$1,000 now.
screens? The people who donate. That's
Ryan Trahan fans do. Yeah, man, he is so good. Money well spent, he says. Yes.
Well, 1,000 from me,
we don't
1,000
need to
from
make-
Nate, 1,000 from Wes, 1,000 from Todd, 1,000 from Hey Grandma. We could do it.
Boom. Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, we could be there. And if we did $50,000, we could make him spin the wheel of doom.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
So
It's all
tempting.
going to St. Jude's, though.
So
it's a good
tempting.
cause. Yes. No, we just need to make more videos. But that being said, so that we have some life left to make some videos someday, we will wrap up this episode. I do want to thank everybody that popped onto the live tonight. That is fun to have people there, but you can watch it later on YouTube, please, or listen if you're into that sort of thing, so you can get out there and tech better.
Trey Parker, huh? Have to subscribe to that guy.
Brian Trahan.
Trahan.
Brian Mayhem.